I'm Katie Ross and I'm one of the counseling interns. As part of FCC Knows, today we are going to be talking about the 5 love languages with Valentine's Day coming up. I'm joined today by...
Hi, I'm Claire Bailey and I'm one of the counseling interns here at the Family Center as well.
And I'm Tiara Martin and I'm an APC at the Family Center.
So with Valentine's Day coming up, we thought it would be helpful if we kind of talked about ways that partners or people in intimate relationships can connect better with each other. So for those who aren't really familiar with the 5 love languages, it's a book that's written by Gary Chapman, and it talks about different ways that couples can connect and communicate, which is really helpful because, as we all know, everyone kind of connects differently to each other. We receive love differently, we communicate it differently. So there's 5 different love languages. They are words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. So for me, my first love language is words of affirmation. So this essentially means that I really receive love and also communicate love by expressing affection through spoken words. So it can be praise, telling my partner how much I love them, that I appreciate the things that they do for me. It's really just letting them know that, hey, I see what you're doing and I really appreciate it, or I think that you're doing a really good job at this. And so for me, I know that in my own relationship or even in my marriage, I really appreciate it if my husband tells me, hey, I think you're doing a really good job at this. I love you. I think that, you look great today. Like that to me goes a long way. So for those out there who are saying, wow, I think that this is actually my love language as well, you may notice that you really like hearing your partner say, I love you. You really appreciate when you are being acknowledged and praised. The details matter, so even the small things that may not be very obvious, if we feel like our partner is pointing that out, that really means a lot to us. We also feel valued if they take the time to reflect and comment on something positive that they notice that we're doing, or if we do something nice for them and they say thank you. So it makes us feel as if our efforts are not going unnoticed, but that they appreciate it at the same time. Does this kind of resonate with either of you guys? Is that one of your top love languages at all, or is that just me?
No, definitely. Words of affirmation mean nothing for me. It's actually very hard for me to be in a relationship with people who that is their top love language. I have to put a lot of effort into pointing out those small things because I'm very much an actions person. I just do and show my affection and love. And I probably would rarely ever tell you I love you unless I know it's something that you want to hear.
So you really have to stop and think about it.
Yes, I'm more like, oh, let me make you a sandwich because I love you so much.
And so see, this is interesting because then my next love language is acts of service. So they're both on opposite spectrums, which I think my husband could say, this is very confusing. Do you want to hear that I love you, or do you want me to show you that I love you? So I'm probably
I want you to do both.
Yes, I'm a very complicated person to be in a relationship with, just kidding. But for me, I do want to hear that you appreciate me and that you love me, but I also really love it if you do things to kind of help out with the load. So especially as a working mom, I really appreciate it when chores are helped out around the house. If I struggle with doing something and my husband will come and be like, hey, don't worry, I've got this. Or if he thinks about something for me and he gets it for me, like takes care of it, like grocery shopping or changing the oil in my car, that's one less thing I have to do during the week. And so that goes a long way for me. So if this is something that also sounds like it could be your love language. You feel taken care of when your partner supports you and helps ease your responsibilities when they do little chores or tasks for you. This also is what Gary Chapman would say, unlocks domestic bliss. This is kind of one of those key things that you can do to ease the stress in your relationship. It also means a lot when someone follows through on something, especially if they were paying attention and stepped in to help. So, like for example, as a partner, if you tell your other partner, hey, I'm feeling really stressed out about this, I've got a lot going on during the week, and without being prompted to do so, the partner could take initiative and say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and do the grocery shopping for the week, I'm gonna clean the house, like I got it, don't worry about it, I don't wanna add to your plate. In hindsight too, you think that talk is cheap, so actions mean everything. So for Tiara, this is probably where you more resonate with this, is that you want to be shown with actions more so rather than the words itself.
Yeah, words mean nothing to me, quite frankly. I know that sounds really horrible, and it's only in intimate relationships, but I very much prefer you to just show me.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll believe what you show me more than what you say.
Yeah.
Well, I know, like, being the head of household, because I'm not married or anything, it's up to me, I have to make sure everything's done, the dogs are fed, all of my stuff is packed for tomorrow, so it's like, say like if somebody that I were dating or something like that, were to, like help out with those things or, stuff like that, I know like that really makes me feel good because it takes a lot off my plate because I'm used to doing everything myself.
Yes, so for you, if you're feeling really stressed out in the week because a lot falls on your shoulders, your partner's gonna score a lot of points with you. If you can come in like, hey, Claire's really stressed out, I got this. Like, this
I'm
is what
gonna
I'm
do
gonna do.
something.
Yes, and then he's got all the brownie points in the world. So those are my 2 love languages, and they're definitely, as I said, on opposite ends of the spectrum. So to be in a relationship with me is to find the middle ground, essentially. Tiara, why don't you share what your love languages are?
Well, for me, I'm more of a quality time person,
Mhm.
and I know a lot of people think quality time is just doing anything together, but when I have quality time, I just need all the attention on me. And so basically having quality time with your love language is having undivided attention. And the key word is undivided attention, which means
Yes.
the attention needs to be focused on you and your partner
Yeah.
and nothing else.
So
Even
no
if-
cell phones or anything
Right,
like
even
that.
if you're doing an activity together, the activity is something that you both enjoy, but you want to do something that requires you to focus on each other more than the activity. So some people think just sitting on the couch watching a movie is quality time. And for some cases it is, depending on the type of connection you're trying to build with your quality time, but kind of you want to say, let's say you do a movie night with popcorn, but you guys pop your own popcorn ahead of time. You do like the gourmet popcorn with the caramel and stuff all over. So the process of making the popcorn together and preparing to watch the movie kind of makes this more of an intimate setting than just sitting in front of the TV watching the movie, where we're both half paying attention or on our phones while we're watching the movie. So you kind of have to make it have a lot of intentions with the activities that you're doing. So ideally with quality time, you want to have focused attention, you want to have quality conversation, and you want to have quality activities. So the quality conversation comes in where you're both being very sympathetic towards one another, like sympathetic listening, and also a lot of self-reflecting, honestly, because oftentimes your partner will tell you during quality conversation what they need from you. And if you're not listening, then you hear them complaining when really your partner's saying, I need more time with you.
Right.
Especially if they're a quality time person. So those 2 things are big components. So sympathetic listening and what was it?
Undivided attention.
Undivided attention.
Yes. See, we're paying
Because we're
attention.
giving.
I'm paying attention to her. This is
And
how I
being
show
self-aware. And being self-aware.
Yeah, and I think that would be really helpful for 2 working spouses to take into consideration, because when they've got like really busy schedules and then they're coming home, sometimes it's really easy to be like, okay, I'm just gonna sit out and veg in front of the TV because I'm exhausted.
Right.
And you can still relax, but also spend time with your partner so that you guys are, building that connection, a very deep bond, instead of just being like, okay, we're just gonna chew couch potatoes and not really acknowledge each other.
Right. And even then, like knowing, quality time can mean different things to different people. So, so for some, maybe for, some working spouses, coming out and, coming home and vegging out in front of the TV is quality time.
Yeah.
And then,
I think it definitely depends on how much time you're spending together. Because sometimes you have more relaxed times where you're like, oh, it's been a long day at work. I don't want to do a lot of talking, but I just want to sit with one another. And that's enough for that moment. And that's where the quality conversation comes in, because you have to be able to pick up on what in that moment does your partner need.
True.
In order to allow them to feel their love language or quality time. Because other times where you may need to go out and plan a night and you make it a big evening. And sometimes you don't want that. And I'm very much that person. I don't always want planned getaways, because I'm like, I don't know why you're doing this, and I get skeptical. I get really skeptical because sometimes I just want to stay home and order pizza, and that's enough for me. And then I like to talk during movies, so if you don't talk to me during a movie, don't put it on, because that's not going to be quality time for me.
So you dissect the movie as you're watching.
Right, that's the point. That's the process for me, because it's not, the movie is just on to provide a topic of conversation. That's the way I see it.
Okay. So see, that's the way that you build that connection. Yes, you guys are doing something that's very laid back and it can be relaxing, but if it's a show or movie that both partners enjoy, you guys are still enjoying each other's company and you're having a conversation.
Right.
So that's an easier way to achieve both.
So it seems like it's really important to plan your quality time, activities, because maybe you're if you want to talk during the movie, maybe your partner's sitting here like shh, like I'm watching the movie, like stop talking.
It's not quality time anymore.
Then you have to figure out which
Right.
quality time activities
It's
work
not
for
serious,
y'all.
it's quality time. Sometimes I can sit and watch it, sometimes I'm like, I need to talk about what's happening here, because I get confused. I'm easily distracted, and so I have to ask questions. But quality time is different for every person, and that's why I say the biggest component is just remembering to pay attention to what your partner needs in that moment, and then focus your attention on your partner no matter what activity that you're doing. Because essentially the activity is just meant to create a sense of togetherness, to provide an opportunity for you guys to be intimate, but the attention should not solely be focused on eating. Well, I'm thinking eating because I'm about to give you an example. Should not be solely focused on the activity. So like for instance, they give the example in the book about how when you know dating couples in a restaurant and you know married couples in a restaurant. Because married couples are just looking around, like they just really came there just to eat, and dating couples are like having conversation while they're eating. So ideally for your quality time partner, you want to be engaging in that conversation while you're eating, not having your phones out, because that kind of lets them feel that intimacy and closeness with you.
Exactly. Well, thank you for sharing that. Claire, do you want to discuss the last two for today?
Yeah. So for me, it's more about the small gestures. So that's physical touch, gift giving. So with that, it's kind of it's more like it's the thought that counts. You don't have to do anything big or major or grand to show your appreciation for that person. And gift giving is, just as simple as, oh, I was at the store today and I saw this, thing that you might like. I know, like, for me, it's keychains. So I collect keychains. So, like, if you're at the store.
Good to know.
So, if you're at the store and you see a cool keychain, like, I'm gonna love that. It's just kind of the idea is, just to show, little gestures that, it's like, hey, I appreciate you, I thought about you today, or, even just, like a nice hug, physical touch, it's always very comforting, and, again, that doesn't have to be, anything major either, I don't know, maybe
I think
just
physical
walking.
touch for me is like words of affirmation.
Yeah.
So I say, oh, I love you, and then I'm like, okay, I know you love me.
Yeah.
But then if you give me a really big hug unexpectedly, I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
This person really loves me. But if you just say it, it's like, yeah, I know you love me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't have to like be these huge like displays of affection, but sometimes just a hug at the end of the day or greeting your spouse or partner with a kiss, that has been shown to be very effective to, let your partner think, hey, I really am attracted to you, I love you, this is how I'm showing you in a different, more intimate way.
Right, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be big too. Like I said, I'm all about the small things. So maybe if we're just having a conversation and I just touch your arm.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes you feel like, okay, this person is really connected to my presence. Me being here really matters to them.
Right, like they're paying attention. Want to hear what I have to say.
Yes.
I think for most of the love languages, as we've already discussed them, it's the simple things that matter.
Really
And I think a lot of times in partnerships, we overlook the simple things. It's like, oh, we've been together so long, I have to do something more dramatic and more dramatic as time goes on with us being together. But life is really about the simple stuff, because we're living a simple life most of the time. We go to work, we go to school if we're still in school, we raise our kids if we have kids, and then that's it. It's like we're doing the same thing every day. We're like stuck in this forced routine ideally. So you have to kind of make use of the time that you have with the resources that you have. So it's like, oh, if your partner's been at work all day, they've had a stressful work day week, oh, I'm gonna make them, I'll cook dinner tonight, and then that'll be something they don't have to do.
Yeah.
And so that's like an act of service, and then actually having dinner together and engaging in conversations is quality time. And maybe you guys, I don't know, rub each other's legs while you're having dinner. I don't know. I like to sit really
What
close.
if he comes home from work and brings
I like to sit
flowers
close
when
to
you make the dinner?
Exactly, gift giving. And so then I like to sit really close to you when I'm having dinner.
Yes.
Like even when I'm watching movies, I like to have my knee touching your knee. Something has to be touching you. So that could happen at dinner time. So you can have all those like love languages met ideally with just having dinner at home
Yeah.
together.
And I think it's really important that we understand why these love languages are so important. Not only is it a way for us to communicate with our partner, but it also promotes selflessness. So we often have opposite love languages from our partner, and by being able to recognize that, hey, my partner really likes physical touch and I'm more like a words person. Yes, it might be uncomfortable for me to be a little bit more physical or touchy-feely, but that's what matters to my partner, and so I'm able to put myself in my partner's shoes and empathize with, hey, in this moment where I might need words of affirmation, my partner's really needing the touch instead. So it really helps us to become a little bit less selfish and more, okay, I can promote empathy in my relationship by doing this.
Right, and when just learning how to connect with people in general.
Exactly. Yes.
And I think a really easy way, because I know a lot of people are like, I don't know my love language, and they want to go take all these tests online, which is totally fine. They're really helpful to do the online tests. But a lot of the time, if you pay attention to yourself, what you crave from other people or what you give to other people is your love language. So if you're a person, like I said, I'm not an affirmation person, so I don't express my emotions and things verbally to people, my affection. So I do a lot of things for you. I touch you a lot if I really like you. I always want to hang out with you. I mean, within reason.
Yeah.
And so that's how I know that that's my love language, even without taking a test, because I want those things from you and I give them to you, ideally to show you that this is what I want back.
Definitely. Well, those were all really great points, and I want to thank you guys for joining me today and talking about our love languages, and hopefully the viewers out there are inspired. They might take the test, or like as Tira said, if you recognize areas that you are showing your partner and what you want, that might be your love language as well. So, as always, thank you for tuning in, and tune in next time for our next segment on FCC Knows.
Yes, thank you.